But yeah, with that, we'll move on to the 11 through 20. We do have some ties in this one. So again, shout out our patrons and our MVP member in Soapy,
Oh, yeah.
Sean Retro. We appreciate your list. We did use you guys as the tiebreakers. So at number 20, we have from the Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins. At 19, we have from the Memphis Grizzlies at the moment, Marcus Smart.
Moment.
At number 18, from the Oklahoma City Thunder, we have Lou Dort. Is this full name like Lugans? It's like
Lugan Store. Yep.
Stort.
Lugans. Such a sick name. At number 17, we have from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels. At 16, from the Dallas Mavericks, we have Klay Thompson. And at 15, from the Chicago Bulls, we have Zach LaVine. At 14, from the Milwaukee Bucks, we have
What
Chris
is
Middleton.
wrong with you guys? Chris.
At number 13, from the Sacramento Kings, pure vibe offense, DeMar DeRozan. At number 12, from the New Orleans Pelicans, for now, Brandon Ingram. And at number 11, an absolute disgrace that he's not in the top 10, from the Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner. Dave, I'm not going to throw it to you first. I'm going to throw it to Ricky first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricky, you had, let me just double check your list.
Mm-hmm.
At 12, you had Andrew Wiggins. So he jumped off. He's up at 20 in our list. He was down near the bottom of my list.
Mm-hmm.
So you have him at 12. What are your thoughts? Like, what's your outlook on Andrew Wiggins? I assume you expect him to have a bounce back year after last year.
Hey, like pure vibes, and one bad year doesn't mean that you're the worst. You still know how to play. Does he still? Last time I checked, is he still on one of the most talented teams in the league?
No,
He in fact is not.
No, he's not. But he should have a bounce. Like I don't want to give up on Wig Dog yet, man. I don't want to give up on him yet. I think he'll bounce back this year, man. I like Andrew Wiggins. The thing I'm wondering is I want to know Dave's reaction when you said Chris Middleton fame. He went, really?
Okay. Well, we'll come back to Andrew Wiggins. I'm gonna let you. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna let you two comment. I'm gonna sit back during this segment.
No, I want to finish Andrew Wiggins. I
thought we were.
Look, no, I get it. It took me a minute to process.
Mm-hmm.
I put my head down and everything. I was like, I don't understand what we're doing right now. Kind of thing with Andrew Wiggins. We're talking about the same Andrew Wiggins.
So your reaction was to Wiggins, not to.
Oh, I reacted to
no, the other player.
There was multiple reactions.
Okay.
No, Wiggins had a rough year last year. I believe his father was ill, and then his father did pass. So like, I get it. That's extremely tough to go through. The fact that Golden State was like, nah, not your problem. You don't have to worry about like any level of communication. And it felt like it built this bubble of like weird media animosity against Andrew Wiggins throughout the year. And then like when he came back, he clearly wasn't right. So, I mean, there is hope that he'll go back to being that like finals MVP run Andrew Wiggins, where he's like, oh wow, rebounding's easy. You just have to try hard. Like that was one of the dumbest quotes I've ever heard in my life, and I just love him for it. There's a lot of consistency to Andrew Wiggins' game. Like you need 18 points, well, you're getting 16. You need 14 points, well, you got 16. So like that was Andrew Wiggins. He was that kind of guy in the NBA for years.
Can I say it's the famous Tobias Harris quote? You have all your starters. He's going to give you 14 points. All of your starters are out. He has the ball. He's going to give you 14 points.
No, it turns out he'll give you less now.
I'll give you zero. That was
went down, yeah.
Yeah, zero in elimination.
No, I mean I swear Wiggins was the same way. He was just incredibly consistent for Golden State for years. So I think that if he's able to get past everything that happened to him off the court last year, then yeah, there's a chance he could return to the guy he needs to be, and especially on a team that kind of needs him to step up because Steve Kerr hates kids, so he's gonna have an opportunity.
Thompson's not there to soak up minutes.
Yeah, so like he'll have an opportunity to have a bigger role in this offense again. It's just what kind of shape is he coming into the season with? So God knows at that point, but like hopefully it's good. I like the hope for positivity out of Ricky. I don't share the same whatever about it, but like I hope for him.
As Spider-Man always said, everyone gets one. You get one bad year, 2 bad years. All right,
you're gonna say like parent who dies, but.
No. That's why he pulled his mask off to the kid in the animated series.
This is my main event of the evening in all our segments. I'm gonna like So just for reference, Ricky and I both have Zach LaVine at 17.
Yeah.
Dave has Zach LaVine
This
at
is
10.
your main event?
Yes, because this one over here is like itching.
I'm at a loss.
I'm gonna sit back during this one. I'm gonna let the two Bulls fans, the two resident Bulls fans above me, Zach LaVine, Dave, commence.
Nope. How could you put him at 17? Was that?
Because he sucks.
Yeah, we both have him at 17.
But he doesn't. He's
a
hurt.
step header.
But he doesn't suck.
Lazy.
How is it?
Not a team leader.
Well,
there are also about what? Where did I have about 16 other small
Klay
forwards?
Thompson's lazy. Klay Thompson's not a team leader.
Klay Thompson can also shoot the 3 ball, which I value more.
So can Zach LaVine.
Not like Klay Thompson.
Zach LaVine was one of the best.
Klay Thompson also plays more defense than Zach LaVine.
Well,
he's not lazy on defense like Zach LaVine.
He's kind of
my real statement point, Dave.
Here's the problem.
You're looking at the wrong name if you're looking at my statement point. My statement point is look where I had DeMar DeRozan.
I don't know.
That's the statement point. I had DeMar DeRozan at 13. I had him well above Zach LaVine. We got rid of the wrong player, Dave.
I disagree.
We got rid of the wrong player. DeMar was who we should have kept if we're looking to tank. Not Zach LaVine.
If we're looking, so wait. So you just admit it. If we're looking to tank, we should have kept DeMar DeRozan, and yet you put him higher.
He's gonna play great against the bad teams like Charlotte. We're gonna blow out Charlotte. Oh man, last second shot, and then get blown out by the Bucks.
Zach LaVine can't show up against good literally teams. The team that Zach LaVine murdered on his own.
Yeah, he's gonna show up against Charlotte, but not against the Bucks. Not against the teams we need him to. I'd rather have Kobe White than Zach LaVine. That's saying something.
Christ.
That is saying something if you know me.
Look, he's an incredibly efficient scorer. He's still a very good basketball player, and if he wants to try, he can be a good defender. Now, has he been given a reason to try in the last 3 years? No.
That's a problem.
Yeah. What do you want him to try for? I get it. He's an incredibly toxic human being.
Player.
I'm not arguing that. That is he is not good for your locker room. He is there is a cancer among him. But like, I just think that like if we're talking basketball players on this list, I think the fact that Chris Middleton somehow is one spot above him on this combined list, and that makes me ill, like physically ill, to know that a man with no lower body.
Would you rather have?
He has no lower body. Chris Middleton has had. Do you know the amount of surgeries he makes Zach LaVine look healthy?
Zach LaVine's also very injured too.
That's my point, and he makes Zach look healthy.
Yeah, but when he's on the court, Dave, he's a lot better of a player.
Chris Middleton was fantastic in the playoffs last year. I just want to put that in.
Chris Middleton. Yeah, years ago.
Listen.
Look.
Let me just use Dave's own words against him because I looked this Discord message up prior.
Of course you did.
It was about Zach LaVine. And it was about the quote of LaVine telling "Don't tell my coach that I can play defense."
Yep.
When he was in the Olympics.
You also said it's a problem that Zach LaVine is talented, but doesn't want to play defense, doesn't want to rebound, and has an insanely low basketball IQ.
Yeah,
those are your exact words.
Those are your exact
words.
And even with all that said, I still think he should be rated higher in this list because he has that much basketball talent.
I think he definitely should be up for Klay Thompson. I'm gonna be honest with you though. Let me double check my list so I don't contradict myself here. Yeah, I don't think he should be above Jaden McDaniels. I think like when you're absolutely elite defensively, like Jaden McDaniels is, right? Like he's top echelon A+ defensively, guarding wings, bigs, guard, really whatever you want.
Not brick walls.
That's true.
He took the L that day and that playoff series.
To be honest with you, if you're a high-end defensive player, you're going to take the L eventually, though. Or if you're like Zach LaVine, you're just going to take the L continuously in your career because your ego.
You don't have a playoff series to have a
L. Because your ego is so high that you take away from the rest of your players.
But Jaden McDaniels is off, or defensively, Zach LaVine is offensively. I think they're equally high. I think 3 years ago, Zach LaVine was in the top three shooting guard debate solidly. It was Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, and Devin Booker were like the three that we always talked about in that grouping. They've clearly separated themselves from him. No argument here. But the fact that he was there And since then, obviously, injury, bounce back. But like he's not been on a team that can win anything, and that's the problem. Is we always look at him and go, yeah, it's empty. It's just always empty with him, and that maybe has built up, that reinforced negative attitude around him and his feelings towards the organization, his feeling towards his teammates.
Well, it's all good now.
Yeah, it's all good now. I just sweep that under the rug, and we'll just pray. We'll just pray. But I think that like people forget how good Zach LaVine is, because he can be like a 28 a game scorer again on like 60-something% true shooting. Like he was that crazy good.
At one point, yes.
I think he's still the same guy.
But my problem is with Zach LaVine is it's a lot of ifs right now. And also I was big on Zach LaVine at one point, but like, and not to throw it back so far that it's past
I'm quoting back 3 years ago.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah, the statute of limitations have passed. But like when Lonzo went down for this team,
yep,
DeMar DeRozan stepped his ass up. DeMar DeRozan was the one carrying this team at some point.
Preach, player.
Where was Zach LaVine? The one who makes more money, whose knees are decrepit, doesn't play defense, doesn't rebound, but is an elite offensive player when he wants to be.
I mean, that year was 2020, 2021,
yes,
right?
But don't quote the stats.
So
Watch
Zach put up
Dave.
27, 5 and 5.
Correct.
On 50, 41,
correct,
85 shooting splits.
While being a traffic cone defensively.
Probably. Solid probably there.
Not probably. He was. And I'm not talking about the stats, because Zach LaVine, I didn't say he's a bad scorer. Never was.
63% true shooting. That's I'm telling you,
the word
elite of the elite as far as scores go.
But the words never, not a good scorer, never left my mouth. What I told you is everything off the court mixed with on the court where he doesn't try.
Yeah.
He literally doesn't try.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why he has to be low. And now he's coming off more surgeries.
Yeah, well, I mean, he literally took a surgery to not go to Detroit. I respect that.
That's respectable, honestly.
Yeah, right? Can anyone argue with that? Do you want to go to Detroit, or would you rather have surgery? I will take the surgery.
I will take the surgery. I'm not disagreeing with you there. That's honestly a plus move.
Thank you.
But it's just
got some business sense.
There's always been, like, the last 2 to 3 years, there's been something that's just rubbed me the wrong way about Zach LaVine.
He's not a great person.
No, he is probably a great person. I don't want to like personal attack, but it's his demeanor within the facilities and the team and the roster. And last year when he's out, we saw Kobe White absolutely finally do what he was supposed to do for the last 2 years, because he got full ball handling duty. Now, do I think that Zach LaVine's going to come in there and stand in the corner and play defense and hit threes? Absolutely not. So what do I think he's going to do? He's going to hinder the development of other players on his team while not helping his team win games. But what he's going to do is he's going to put stats up so people like Dave can come here and sit and tell me that he's such this great player because he scores efficiently, his box scores look gaudy, but then it turns into absolutely all. Sorry, Ricky, that's my first one. It turns into absolutely nothing.
I think of a team that had a great coach actually traded for him, he would perform if there were expectations, and that's the thing with him. Like, if he went to, we kept joking about the Golden State deal with like him and Caruso. Like, if that had actually came through, do I think Steve Kerr would have gotten that man to play defense for like 30 minutes a night? Absolutely. Like, I think there are certain situations where if he goes there, we could get the best Zach LaVine, and what we're watching right now isn't that, and I will openly admit that.
That I agree with, because that's what we talked about earlier in the last segment. If you didn't check it out, the 21 through 30 list. We talked about if guys go to different environments, their weaknesses in their games can be enhanced because, one, they'll listen to a coach of a winning team. And two, they're in a playoff scenario. That changes anybody, unless your name's Bradley Beal, because apparently you just get worse then. I don't know. There was at one point, and there probably still is somewhat, but now I'm just lower on it. At one point, I was saying that I would take Zach LaVine, right? But now this giant contract mixed with, you're going to pay this guy $50 million a year, is it? Is it something like that? It's something stupid. Yep. $50 million a year to play one side of the ball, maybe. And it's the one thing that'll help him is that Giddey on the team will help him get a lot of like backdoor looks, a lot of open looks. That'll help him. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. But it's just,
and Lonzo's back too. So again, really good.
Can't play back-to-backs on minute restrictions, so it's going to be. I know, but I'm just saying it's going to be a very slow roll out for Lonzo. We'll see how long he lasts, because, like he said out of his mouth today, nobody's ever come back from this injury.
True.
So
my only question is like, and again, I know that's not the point of these rankings, but like, is there a guy in this section who has a higher top end than Zach LaVine?
You want me to get into my next point?
Genuine question, yeah.
Yes, that person's name is Franz Wagner, and there's no shot that he should not be in the top 10. Him not being in the top 10 is an absolute disgrace. All right, I know I'm supposed to be the host.
10.
I know I'm supposed to be the host and be like, yeah, who kicked him out of the top 10 then? Because I had him at 9. Dave?
I think I had him at
no,
wait, I'm looking at
13.
13? Yeah.
Yes. You have him at 13. Ricky had him at 14.
Okay, I did
listen,
have him at 14.
Listen. And thank God he ended up. I understand that. And that's why you said top end. That's why I said Franz Wagner. Because he after the ankle injury last year, you saw his arc dip a little bit. Yeah. His push wasn't as smooth. But you saw him in the Olympics. He was doing it. Right? His game looked a little bit back to normal in the Olympics.
Olympic basketball is different than NBA, though.
Yes, but I'm just talking about in terms of mechanics and the shots.
He looked like a better player.
Yeah. It looked back to what we looked in the first 18 months of his career. Mm-hmm. All I'm going to say is there is a certain person that is above him that when we get to our 1 through 10, it is a disgrace that he is above him at number 10. It's an absolute disgrace that he's at number 10. Wow. All right. Franz Wagner is a perennial all-star now every single year. He's going to be the number 2 option on a top 5 East team for the next couple years. Mm-hmm. He is a great defender, not elite, but great. He's a great defender. He can score at all 3 levels, and he has the second primary playmaking obligations on his team. Correct. Because his GM refuses to sign a point guard, like an actual point guard. And he still does it, and they win games because the whole reliance on their offense is Paolo and Franz. Yep. They have to do literally everything. So Franz is out there with 4 people around him. Last year, they had no shooting, so Franz had to create everything with no spacing around him. And when he kicked it out half the time, they missed the shot. And this dude's still putting up efficient 20, 25-point nights. Like, Franz Wagner is, I think it was, his second or third year last year? Yeah. Yeah. And he is almost an all-star every year. And he can't crack the top 10 in our list because broken back is above him. Like, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous that Franz Wagner is not above this.
If he truly is bouncing all the way back and his 3-point shot comes back to respectable, then that's fine. And like you said, we watched the Magic try to adjust the roster this offseason slightly. You know, they made some good changes as far as adding that spacing. They got KCP in there. Jalen Suggs took a step, we hope. If not to be a facilitator, then just to be a really good shooter, hopefully going forward. So, like, They are making the right moves in theory. I still agree. I would love a traditional point guard in that system. But I understand options are options, and they didn't want to go that route. So good luck, Franz. And if you hit your 3s, you'll be, right back up to the top 10.
Yeah. Ricky, I'll throw it to you. You actually had BI at 11, I believe. Mm-hmm. 2 questions with him, I guess. One.
Why is he too high?
No, because
I'm just expecting it at this point.
No, it's 2 questions about Brandon Ingram. I'll say one, do you think he's still a Pelican come post deadline?
No.
And 2, what part of his game can he? Because the 3-point volume is clearly not where it needs to be. Do you think that there's a way for him to increase that in the current system? Do you think it's more ball handling duties? Like how does he jump up the list even farther? Basically,
I mean. To me, if he's going to jump up the list, it's not necessarily like I look at his 3-point shooting and go, oh my God, he needs to be a knockdown sniper from behind the 3-point arc. I just feel like, so the Pelicans are going to be interesting this year because obviously bringing in DeJounte Murray, another piece to kind of fit in to the starting lineup. It's like, I don't expect his role to be lessened, but I expect his role to be lessened, if that makes sense. Maybe role, that's a bad word, but his numbers to be affected because obviously DeJounte Murray, another mouth to feed. We had the discussion in either the shooting guards or the power forward of how does DeJounte fit in with CJ? Who's going to have the ball in their hands more? It's probably going to be DeJounte, but also BI, somebody who has the ball in his hands. It's just we have 3 ball handlers. Is somebody running the offense? He needs to be that dog. And if he has the only way he's moving up this list, if he has an MVP caliber season, where he's top 5 MVP or top 3 MVP, or where it's wow, he finished second in MVP, or if he even won the damn thing. That's the only way he's going to move up in my mind because the players above him in the top 10,
kind
of hard to move them. Except for Jake with one player that we already know who he hates.
I don't hate. Hate's a strong word.
I feel like BI is got like KD syndrome. Like he fell in love with the mid range, and like everyone's telling him you need to take threes. They're good for you, and he's like, but I love the mid range, and that's where I'm happy at, and that's where I can get my buckets. I can create. I'm just bigger, taller, longer than everybody else out there. So like that's his comfort zone, and I know it's not modern basketball, but like he's in that weird role where he was being asked to be like a creator for them, and he was being asked to be like a scorer for them, and then like their whole team again. And I get it, positionless basketball sounds great until you have a team that looks like the Pelicans last year, and you're like, this isn't gonna work. They won a lot of games somehow. Still,
it wasn't pretty.
But yeah, like you watch them, and they had role issues down the line, and there's a reason everyone's screaming for Trey Murphy to get this man's job. But at the same time, nobody wants to pay Brandon Ingram, and it's like no one wants to pay a guy who can get you 20 points a night efficiently, who can rebound okay, who can facilitate it above average for a wing. Like he does everything you kind of want, except you're like, yeah, instead of like 3.5 threes a game, if you could take like 7.5, that would be like where we would want you. 8 threes, 9 threes, somewhere in that like just shy of 10, I think is the golden range right now if you're a good shooter, where that's where people expect you to be at. So with BI, I feel like he's so screwed because of the fit and the needs of this team this year. Like even when CJ McCollum takes more threes year over year over year, like he even got the message. Like Brandon Ingram's got to either change his game. Like he's still 27. Yeah. Like he's still not that old.
It's funny how you say that he fell in love with the mid-range like KD. KD takes 2 more threes a game than him last year. Almost 3 more threes a game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's because of the Suns. Like they've been trying to like, and I just feel like he needs a new team. No one wants him, and no one wants to pay him because the teams at the bottom want to tank. And I feel like he's going to end up going somewhere on like a makeup deal for like a year, and that's going to be like this awkward thing next year because in free agency, it might be the Nets because they'll just have money, and it's like at some point we can pay somebody something kind of thing, or maybe it's like a weird one with like the Spurs. I don't know. Like Harrison Barnes was a 1-year deal, and you move on and you go get Brandon Ingram because you have money.
Is DeMar a 1-year deal? I can't remember how many years he has on his deal.
I think it's 3. He said DeMar, I think it's 3.
Yeah,
now, the weird one that I was going to say at the deadline, because I think Ingram, honestly, he probably goes to a bottom team either at the deadline or in the playoffs. Because I think the Raptors might be a team because Pirtle would help the Pelicans. Pirtle would help the Pelicans immensely. And BI could slide in with their lineup they currently have. You can play him, Scotty, RJ quickly, and then a center.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You could play those 5. And that's just off the wall off my head. I was I was literally thinking I'm going to mention that I think he probably either gets traded or signs with a lower end team.
Yeah.
But even if he makes it to free agency, Pistons will be there. The Pistons will absolutely be like,
Pistons,
what do you want?
Be there.
That's actually true. Yeah.
You don't shoot threes? Come to us. That's what we want. Another non-spacing wing.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's so
no,
weird.
It works.
Like,
No,
guys
it works.
With his talent don't have the same value because it feels like I don't know. Like his defense needs to get better for sure.
Yep.
But he's not like the worst defender in the league.
No, but he's like the same thing, right? Like if he goes to a contending team, do you not think he would be a better defender?
Probably, yeah.
He has the length to that. He just has to
he can affect shots,
Exactly.
It's just a very strange fit situation with him in New Orleans right now, and we're all just kind of waiting for it to move on to the next step. Also, that man looks high. Like he might be the highest looking player I've ever seen in my life.
It's funny you say that. I have his basketball reference pull up. Just looking at his face, it's like, yep, he looks high.
Yeah, so I'm going to group these 3 players together. Dave, we'll go back to you. You can pick a player you want to talk about. We'll do our little triangle so we can cross. There's kind of this group of 3 of Jade McDaniels, Lou Dort, and Marcus Smart, where defense.
We like defense.
We like defense. So, I mean, do you see anything that separates one of these 3 from each other? One of these that we've talked about Marcus Smart maybe not being a Grizzly next year. Like, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with these 3.
Yeah, I think starting off, like, personally, I like the positional variety, being able to defend multiple spots. Lou Dort and Jaden McDaniels can do that a little bit better than Marcus Smart. Funny I say, because Marcus Smart has Defensive Player of the Year award. That was a total sham, and I don't believe in it at all. So he can suck it on that one. It was rigged. We all know it. I like Jaden McDaniels. Yep. Thank you. Fingers out there, Ricky. Ricky, can I get a
rigged?
I don't know what it was, but it was a rigged award. It was rigged. We contested it. We did. We called on the phone.
Nobody saw a bigger rig job.
Who finished in second that year? I forget.
Oh my god!
I'll look while Dave talks.
Who finished in second?
But I think it just comes down to, like, I like the fact that Lou Dort and McDaniels can guard up and down the lineup. Like they can switch everywhere out there. McDaniels, I wanted him to be a better player than he is right now. But I go ahead, Jake. You got
it. It was Mikal Bridges.
Yes, it was.
I'm from New York.
Well, he was Phoenix.
Well, he's in New York now. My boy, Mikal Bridges.
The greatest city in the world.
The Villanova Hova. Should have won it, my friends. He should have won it.
I love it,
man.
That's gonna come in clutch all year. But yeah, McDaniels was a guy who I loved in college. And I really was blown out of the waters by his effort on defense. He was a guy who came in with the rep of being like, this is an offense-only player. Yeah, he's a coach's son, but like he's lazy. He's got some attitude situation going on that kind of floated around his draft stock. But it was always like he's an absolute baller. So I loved him. The fact that he made his whole reputation defense, that he is a stone cold defender at the 3-4-5 out there. He can switch onto guards and still has the foot speed to keep up with some of them. Like, it's just fantastic. And I think it's a huge part of why the Timberwolves felt comfortable moving forward. Like, hey, we got switchable wings. I think we can afford to lose a cat. It's okay.
Yeah, but for Randall, it's just...
I know.
It's great.
But Lou Dort, again, loved him in college. He was a little bowling ball. It was hilarious watching him just get like 10 free throws a night. I don't know. He seems like he might be the odd guy out coming up soon. And I know that sounds crazy for OKC, but
right.
They threw out some contracts. I think Wiggins had a phenomenal end to last year. He got paid. And I think he might just be a better like fit for their system. But Lou Dort is still like, you just put him on somebody for the night. You just don't even care. Like he's just a lockdown dude.
Torture chamber, right?
The torture chamber.
Torture chamber.
Torture chamber.
I'm just like, because when you look at their lineup, right? Shea, Williams, that's what we put him at the 2. I feel so weird saying as a 2. But
I know.
It's Dort, and iHeart now, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we all expect them kind of to move for somebody at some point. Like somebody's going to become available that they're going to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Lou Dort and somebody would have to be the package, right? With 17 million first round picks. But like, he seems like the guy. Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player. Limited. He gets red hot every once in a while from 3, and it's hilarious. But like, it's the most like, oh god, no. Oh, it went in. And then you just know, you're like, oh no, it went in. That means he's gonna take another one. He's gonna let it rip for a minute. You get that confidence going in your game. And then Marcus Smart, he's fine.
Yeah. We don't know. He was out for basically the entirety of last season.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like to take like victory laps and all that, But shout out JD, our fellow MVP member, when they traded Marcus Smart away and got Drew Holiday. JD was mad. JD was real mad, and it's wild how much of a better player Drew Holiday is.
It's almost
Marcus
wild
Smart.
that they might have won the finals because of Drew Holiday.
But he won a Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah, the most fraud defensive player of the year I've ever witnessed in my life. It shouldn't have gone to either of them. It should have been Rudy Gobert. It shouldn't have even been Mikal Bridges at number 2. It's just
everybody hates Rudy.
Yeah. No, that's true. We'll get into that in the center ranking. Ricky, last guy I'm going to ask you about your boy, half of the Splash Bros, number 31 on the Dallas Mavericks, Klay Thompson. What are your expectations for him this year? I was going to label him as the guy who could fall the farthest in these rankings if we continue to see more of what we saw last year. Do you expect that? Do you expect an uptick? What do you expect with him on the Dallas Mavericks?
I'm expecting him to play with the scoring champion from last year. To me, not the most improved player, but could be in the argument for most improved in a different sense, Kyrie Irving, because he kind of revitalized not really his career, but his what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
His likeness or likeness in many people's eyes. Public image. Likability. Change of scenery, man. That's all it's going to be this year for Klay. Change of scenery. Just ball out. Do what you do. Shoot threes. Play a little bit of defense because,
Wow.
You don't play much of that. You and Kyrie on the side of Luka. That's the main thing. Play some defense.
PJ Washington is just cursing up and down that court.
Dude, you mean nuclear PJ Washington and his like 50-some% three at a certain point in the playoffs. But yeah,
The reason they went to the finals.
You think there's like a nice medium ground for Clay's production this year, because he's never going to be what he was, obviously.
Never say never.
But he can't be what he was last year, because he was atrocious last year.
I'm not saying he's going to be what he used to be, but he'll be better than last year. But never say never, because I think he could surprise us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, Dave, do you agree that the number one thing with me for him is his defense needs to come back at least a little bit, not to the elite levels, but like it has to come back somewhat.
Yeah, flat out hustle and effort will go a long way on this roster. The amount of clear looks from three that he's going to get this year is going to be very interesting to see. The one thing I'm curious though about is he got a lot of his touches in Golden State coming off of screens and handoffs, and I don't think that they run anywhere near that, like no volume of that in Dallas. So it might be a little bit of a change up for him to be more of a catch and shoot gunner. I'm not sure how relocation happy they're going to have him being, which might be to his benefit as a defender. He's not doing all this off ball action and movement, so maybe he can save a little energy on the defensive side by that. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to use him from that standpoint and get him his looks. But in theory, if you got Luka and Kyrie creating for you, you're probably going to be up a defender, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of the looks you saw in the playoffs last year of PJ Washington getting at the weak side corner a lot will probably be Klay Thompson now. And if we get 60-70% of Klay, those are going to be money at 40-some%, right? Those are the shots that he hits. It'll be interesting, because Luka, I think the off-ball stuff that you're talking about, we might see that a little bit when Kyrie's on the court. When Luka's on the court, go stand in the corner, bud. Get ready to learn the lyrics to the corner three. All right, you're gonna be standing there. Either
do we know if there's any boats in the Dallas area? Can we get this man?
The real bad part is if he's starting to miss a lot, those Dallas Maverick rims have the mics on them.
Oh,
so
God.
those bricks are gonna be. Somebody said if he does bad, the video of him in a Dallas Mavericks jersey is gonna rival the Kevin Garnett in a Brooklyn jersey videos. Like those videos are bad. Either of you, any final thoughts on the 11 through 20? Anybody? The only guys we didn't touch much on are DeMar and Chris Middleton, but we'll be talking about them throughout the year. So
DeMar's great, love him. Thank you for your time. Chris Middleton's had all the surgeries in the world, and I can't believe that you guys ranked him so high.
He's Chris Middleton. Good. He deserves some respect.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He shows up when it matters most, Dave.
I mean, he did. Giannis went out. And he was
Clark Kent regular season, Superman postseason.
Brooke Lopez is running out there like Bobby Portis is like in the corner, and then you got Damian Lillard standing off in the corner like, man, I can't wait to be home.
I can't believe I'm in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and then Chris Middleton's out there putting up like 24 a game on really good percentages in the playoffs. It's just
let's see this past playoff run. Yeah, I mean,
go see it. Yeah, you read out the stats, Dave. You read out the Levine ones. Read out those ones.
24. A night. It was 6 games.
Yep.
Wait, 2023, 2024.
That's the season.
That was last year.
Double checking.
Yep. 24.
So 24 a night, 9 boards, and 4.5 assists.
On what?
On 48, 35, 90.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Yep.
It was really good.
I love how we look at both of us and both shaking our eyes wide open going,
It was pretty good, but he just came back from another surgery.
Yeah, but he played
a double surgery.
Zach LaVine should try playing in the playoffs once in his career.
I know, right?
They did that. They did, right? And who'd they play in the playoffs that year that Zach LaVine played? And what happened in that series?
It was bad. It was real bad. Patrick Williams.
Oh, you won one.
Oh, that's right. They gentlemen sweeped us.
Yeah, you gentlemen swept you.
We saw peak Patrick Williams that day.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.